So then
Yeah.
I had to, I kept that, but then started to work on the mindfulness of it. How are we shutting this down? How are we giving this rest? How do we, you know what I'm saying? Now, how do we
Mhm.
heal the body in a different capacity? Going past the hands-on aspect of it and going into the mental, emotional, that aspect of it, the mental health of it, if you will.
Mhm.
So, that in itself landed me where I am,
Mhm.
now doing sleep therapy,
Mhm.
and assisting people in healing through sleep therapy.
So along the so the fertility massage came.
Hmm.
I know that when we move into the healing arena through massage, there's so many different modalities. That's one
Yes.
that I would always hear of. But the sleep specialty. So you have that on your mind, and then evidently there were some, it's a specialty field in a way that how I've observed how you've been educating and sharing in that. Tell us a little bit more about how that even showed up in your guiding you in that particular specialty through body work. How did that show up?
um in the bodies themselves. One thing that was so interesting that I would always remember, I said before, I was always asking spirit to just show me, reveal to me, how do I assist this creation. And one of the things that would always happen is I would get repetition, like 3 or 4 or 5 people throughout the week with the same thing, right?
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
oh, my shoulders bother me, and then 2, 3 other people, 4, 5, 6 people throughout the week say the same thing, and I'm
Right.
like, all right, well, what is going on with these shoulders?
Mhm.
Let me examine that, and each time somebody would come in with something different, um, it helped me work my way through how to reposition or how to shift the body in the sleep portion of it to alleviate the pain part,
Right.
right? To
Mhm.
take care of a frozen shoulder or sciatic issues, or whatever the case may be. Um, the part that I noticed though was that 10 minutes of rubbing and they was
Wow.
sleep.
Mhm.
So in my my thought process, I'm like, well, y'all tired. That's what's wrong.
Right.
Y'all
That's
didn't
just
come in
like
here for no massage. You came in here to get a nap. You're sleepy. Like
yeah.
y'all are tired. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I remember massaging my dad one time, and he says, "Oh, you put people to sleep, huh? I don't think you can, put me to sleep." And in 10 minutes, he was out. And I'm like, "You tired too? Everybody's tired. And I used to always tell my clients that, if you go to sleep, it assists me, because I can go in and do my, I administer my spiritual anesthesia.
I know that's right.
Uh,
The spiritual anesthesia.
yes,
That's
to
the
put
opposite of a spiritual enema, right?
right,
That's another podcast.
right. It is, to put you to sleep. Um, but during that time, I always looked at my clients on the table as me, the God talking to himself.
Mhm. Yes.
Once I got the physical aspect of the person out of the way, now let God have a conversation with itself,
Hey, hey, hey.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but the sleeping part, and then when they wake up, they were like, oh my God, like I could have just kept sleeping.
Hmm.
Right. That was the thought process. It was, I don't want to move. I don't want to get up. I don't want to, Anybody who's had a massage, that's usually the thing. They like, you know what? Let me just lay here.
Uh-huh.
Um, because I don't want to move, I don't want to get up. But that's how I realized, look at how tired these bodies are.
And it's like you haven't had such a deep sleep and like since you were
Yeah,
born. And
absolutely.
I feel like it's literally the zone of being able to feel like your spirit totally detached from the meat suit.
Absolutely.
And if you could just stay in that feeling of being totally detached to allow rest
Right.
from everything,
Absolutely.
that if you could extend that zone, and when I say that to myself, being able to sit in that zone for just a few minutes changes everything.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the approach to healing through sleep therapy. How do we stay in that zone?
Mm.
How do I assist you in first preparing and getting to that zone, right? To get to, because it's a preparation state. I think we all have morning routines, but no one really has one at night, right? Uh, we
True,
may we
true.
may take a shower and we brush our teeth, but the ritual happens more in the morning.
Right.
And to keep it, to go back to, that biblical root of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture says, at the end of each day of creating, and the evening and morning was the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, there was rest, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The order says evening and morning, not the morning and the evening. The evening and the morning, which lets us know that the day starts at night. That darkness that was being created in Genesis 1 when the creation was first starting was at nighttime.
Mm.
That was at nighttime,
Yes, that was
right?
it.
What
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Uh-huh.
in the beginning God created. So in
Right.
order for us to create at the beginning of any endeavor, there must be, first of all, balance, heaven and earth.
Uh-huh.
Heaven, right? Mind, space, state, earth, physical body, right? That's the heaven and the earth. The next scripture says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness,
Mm-hmm.
okay, was over the face of the deep, and the spirit of, you know what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
God said, let there be light. That
Mm-hmm.
means something awakened.
Mm-hmm. So it was dark first.
It was dark
Yeah.
first.
Mm.
And then an awakening happened. Light came,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why we are the way we are is because we are operating out of order.
Mm. Yeah.
There's an order. You must prioritize the nighttime. The reason being is because by the time you get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, you're already halfway through the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The nighttime and the preparation that happens at night is so that when we close our eyes and we leave this space, preferably for about 8 hours, because I don't know about you, but I be trying to detach from this space for at least 8 hours, at the least.
But that's so true what you just mentioned about by the time if you even wake up at 6 o'clock, half the day gone. Yeah, according to Gregorian calendar with that midnight thing,
Right.
those 6 hours of darkness. And I love sunrises and sunsets, and I was studying about the different phases before actual sunrise. And
Mm-hmm.
just like you mentioned, there's phases
Mm-hmm.
to it, and it starts at night. And
Absolutely.
there's twilight, there's different, it's nautical time, twilight time, there's different layers before even sunrise.
Right.
And when you put
Absolutely.
it that way, that by 6 a.m., half the day, ooh, you're
Yeah.
so right.
It's already gone. It is
I
already
know.
gone. Yeah, it's already gone. And if you don't take the time to get into those stages and those spaces,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to miss the download to figure out what you need to create
Mm-hmm.
when you do wake up.
Mm. Ooh, let's talk about, yeah. So you're uh descriptive of the work that you do
Hmm.
is the sleep, what is it, sleep specialist? Tell us
Sleep
what is it.
therapy. Uh-huh. Hmm.
Yeah, holistic sleep therapist,
Healing through sleep therapy is the name of the service.
healing through sleep therapy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. What does
Yeah.
that look like when you work with someone in that idea?
Um, the intake process, and I do the same approach that I did when I did with massages. If I don't know you, I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
So the intake process is, we go through everything, from your physical ailments, if there are any, to mental things that are going on, and we do the consulting piece, if you will, to get that part lined up and taken care of. And then from there, I have several options, because um, some people who aren't, who want, just to get their feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
I will do a single session. If you want, one session here or twice a month. You can purchase a package, or I have a 3-month program where we completely rearrange everything when it comes to your approach and your relationship with sleep,
Oh.
from changing the environment to um, uh, going through each week, expounding on what we need to shift, what we need to change.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I did massage, I was always a person that said, okay, let's try this. And then when you come back in a couple of weeks, if that's not it, we're not going to keep doing the same thing. Let's figure out what else the body's asking for,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is my same approach. We go through mental mindfulness exercises. There is meditation. There is postural correction. With the sleeping aspect, and knowing pillow posture, and the whole nine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the kind of pillow. If
Sleeping, your sleep, adjusting your sleeping position.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely, because that makes a difference too. Um, the the fetal position, which a lot of people like to sleep in, has there's a psychological aspect to it. It's about protecting oneself, um, or going back to the space where one felt the most safest,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we ain't been fetuses for a while. The fetal
I could say so much about that. You sure with some of us ain't fetus
well,
still? Woo,
I know. I
full
tell
grown,
my
full.
clients that, the fetal position is for that which is denoted in the name, the fetus.
But they full blown grown up, but
Right.
they still got a fetal mind. You know, that's a whole
Absolutely.
that's
Yep. But that's part of this
fetus
healing
mind.
through sleep therapy, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
part of that, of the therapy to um, help them understand you are safe in this space.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have every possible thing that you could ever need. Everything right here,
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
right here. I always say, if you go outside of yourself to look for something to help yourself, it might cost you a little, it might cost you a lot, but it's going to cost you. Everything that you need is right
Mm-hmm.
here, right? Blueprint, map, the instructions, everything right here. So part of that, the healing through sleep therapy is helping people unravel the conditioning aspects of how they were. We were conditioned here,
Mm-hmm.
because once you shift this portion and learn how to go into your sleep and rest, and I mean really rest, because sleep is great, but if it is not restful, then it hasn't truly done its fullest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It must be restful sleep. Sleep is, you know what I'm saying? Most people can go to sleep, lay down, go to sleep. But if
Mm-hmm.
it is not restful, if it's tossing and turning, or if the mind is always, they taking the thoughts in, that changes, you know what I'm saying, what the
Mm-hmm.
body does when we go to sleep, which is to restore and repair and to, fix all the stuff that we jacked it up, earlier in the day with
Mm-hmm.
the coffees and the foods and the, all the things that we do to it, right? So that, that timing of sleep is sacred,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's extremely sacred. It is a time to get the downloads. It is the meeting place for the
Mm.
ancestors.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. So in this in the physical that we are experiencing in the third dimension,
Hmm.
and I'm a uh, hmm, kind of go up the staircase. You and I understand that we are multidimensional beings, and
Right.
as we are speaking right now, we're actually in a particular universe
Hmm.
through communication.
Yes.
Um, when we get off of here, you're in a whole nother aspect of the universe of your living. We're multi-dimensional universes
Hmm.
at every single moment. And there's so many different scenarios of an idea of an outcome of every which way, different roads and avenues that can be taken.
Hmm.
In the idea of us as spiritual beings being in this karmic or this avatar type vessel.
Hmm.
So we talked about you as a healer observing and responding to the call to be one to assist and help facilitate and bring attention to the importance of that period, that sacred period that's important for us as spiritual beings and the vessels that we operate in. So
Hmm.
now we're talking about allowing that vessel to park, right? And
Yes.
then now you are entering into the most delicate and critical point of what the benefits are as we allow the vessel to be parked,
Hmm.
and then what is happening with us in the
Yes.
spirit, the benefits of intentional rest,
Yes.
and take us there.
Yeah.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
us there.
So one of my favorite quotes is by Albert Einstein, and he says, "No problem, no problem can be solved in the same mind that created it."
Mm,
So if we are dealing with, you know, life issues, things that are happening in our awakened state, physically awakened, right? Um, the only way to fix it is to go to sleep so that you can get the answer to how to fix it in your
mm,
sleep
mm,
through dreams. That gives you the answer to how to fix it,
mm,
right? And the purveyors of sending the message to you during that time are the ancestors,
mm,
right? Um, Studying astrology, the 12th house of astrology is the house of what they call loss, but it is the house of the loss is losing the ego,
mm.
right? But it is the house of sleep. 12th house is the house of sleep. It is
Oh,
the it is the house of the ancestors. It is the house of spiritual enlightenment and
huh.
what they call moksha. It is the house that you are in, Pisces being the last sign. It was the house that you were in prior to coming into the first house to get a physical body, right? So it's the spirit realm, the 12th house, right? The 12th house in anybody's astrology chart will talk about how they look at sleep or how they approach sleep or how they, you know what I'm saying, understand their
Mm-hmm.
spirituality and enlightenment and their connection to the ancestors. So when we go to sleep at night, and I tell people, there's stages, of course, that we go through, your REM, your non-REM, your deep sleep, your light sleeps. So we go through those stages. Um, so that the body is always like, okay, let me make sure you're going to stay here in this spot
Mm-hmm.
before, because usually when we have a dream to get the answers to the problem, which is, when I'm doing these sessions with people, um, or I always have them take something into their sleep with them that they need to get solved
Mm-hmm.
once we've done another aspect of it, right? So taking this problem in to get solved. And then in the morning when you wake up, because the beautiful part about um, this process of sleep is you get to wake up, and the dreams that happen, let me go back to that aspect of it. Your dreams of what you really need to get, they really don't give them to you until right before you get ready to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is so that it can stay fresh on your mind. Now, if you're a person who takes a lot of thoughts in with you, you're not going to remember it. You
Oh,
might not even dream.
or you want to remember that you dream?
No, you might not remember the dream
Okay.
because the dream has the answer in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the dream happens right before you wake up so that when you wake up, you can write it down and interpret it to figure out what is it now that I need to create today to solve the problem of what I asked about before I laid down.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we think we don't look at sleep in that aspect, especially because it is if you look up on Google it on any platform, Google will tell you that sleep is what cures all of it.
Mm-hmm.
High blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, depression, anxiety, you name it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a $585 billion industry. They wouldn't do these researches. The CIA and all these other governmental agencies wouldn't be doing research on it or giving out grants to help with sleep science, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is a form of meditation. Sleep is the best meditation.
Mm-hmm. Because we are innate uh, physically, we shift brainwave frequencies.
Yes, we do.
Like as we're awake right now, but when we lie down, then we go into different brainwave frequencies. If like the frequency we are now versus the frequency of intentional meditation versus the frequency of brain waves when you're creating, because I did study that for
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed how it would feel when I'm painting or creating something.
Mm-hmm.
And as I reflect, when I used to do massage therapy, but it wasn't until I started doing painting and I did some research to find out what brainwave state
Mm-hmm.
we're in when we're in creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And also what came up was the awareness of what dimensional energy we're activating, fourth, fifth dimension
Mm-hmm.
versus third.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I just wanted to
But
point
that
that that's
painting
what I
is
discovered doing this experience of being in this body
right, right.
at the brainwave state. So yeah, talk more
That
on
but
that with the
well,
sleeping.
that painting is that aspect of it is a meditation. It's a form of trance
Mhm.
that you're in. Um we've all probably well, most of us have been privy to or aware of what meditation does to the body,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What it means, the importance of resting the mind so that we can shift and be on those different brain waves, right? Um, there is um, oh gosh, I can't remember it right now. This book that I read, um, but it was talking about um where I am when I say the importance of um resting it, because when we look at our day in a 20 in just in the day period, how often does the mind get a break? How
Mm-hmm.
often does it, get a moment of silence?
Mm-hmm.
I tell my, I'm always telling people, could you step in the shoes of your brain for just a moment? You would
Mm-hmm.
probably only want to be for like 30 seconds, if that, because you'd be like, you know what, I can't do this. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Um, I have to get out of here. But we must shift those levels of the brain waves themselves for that deep, much needed healing to happen inside the body, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the only time you're going to get that done is when you close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time that the body really says, "Oh, okay, all right, they out the way." Prayerfully. Um, let me go in here and do what I was created to do,
Mm-hmm.
what I was designed to do, what I know innately they need. They don't realize it's what they need,
Mm-hmm.
but I got this, because again, this creation in itself, for spirit to design it, to create it, to make it manifest, and then place itself inside of it. When we understand the beauty of the sleep and getting it, that's where that real good connection with that which is inside you is, that which is making all of these things happen, all these things shake and move and do what they do.
It's like untapped territory if you considered having that necessary ritual in preparation for sleep, in preparation for recording your dreams,
Hmm.
just even understanding that it's fertile ground.
Yeah, very fertile,
Mm-hmm.
very fertile. You want to, the programming faculties of the mind and the brain, um to change things. Look, even if you look at like hypnosis, right? People want to stop smoking, you want to lose weight, you want to, do all those things. They go to see a hypnotherapist because that therapist takes them into a meditative sleep state
Mm-hmm.
to reprogram. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, just like that, when you come out, you know what? I don't even want no cigarette no more. Oh,
Right.
I don't want to, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody smoking for 20, 30 years now have gone into this meditative state that reprograms them.
Mm.
We can't fix in our awakened state, we can't fix that. Why? Because we are information overload. So,
Mm-hmm.
you could be sitting up here saying, you know what, I'm done with these cigarettes. And then smoking commercial come across screen and you like, you know what? Well, shoot, I can get another one real quick. Or you know
Right.
what I mean? This awakened state doesn't it's not this awakened state keeps you connected to this matrix, if you will.
Ooh, child. Okay. I hear that. And here we are talking about that um living an awakened life.
Yeah.
And so when I speak of it in that way, it is speaking from the awareness of being in that connected dimension, but
Mhm.
how to transcend it in a more intentional way. One of the major ways is what you're talking about now, is the awareness of the importance of that sacred time, the awareness of the importance of what's happening to the body, mind, and spirit.